Here's another interesting construction note from this guitar is how these tuners are attached here with these two tabs on either end of them, which come out or are put in with machine screws if and when they do come out. There we are. So these are machine screws, rather than wood screws, right? And they screw into a plate. You can see the plate peeking out over here. Here, let me get it turned right. Okay, so there's a thin metal plate that runs up and down through here, embedded into this composite material, into which those screws screw. So, being that these are Ovation branded tuners and they're not too bad looking and they're all working, I was hoping to just transfer these over to this neck. Now, if I do that, we can see that that works, although I can't reuse the old mounting hole, right? Because these are pretty much just going north and south and not 45 degrees. I haven't taken them all off and tried to see if they would all work, but right now I'm leaning towards just buying a modern set of tuners with the 45-degree offset there for the mount. Also because the ferrules here, okay, I think they're bonded in. I haven't been able to get one to move. You can't even see through there. You can't even catch an edge really. There's a little bit, but I've tried banging on that a little bit, and I don't know if they're going to come out. They would have to press fit exactly into here, so I may not be able to save the tuners. We'll see. But I thought that was interesting, the machine screws going into an embedded plate inside of here. But I guess they realized that this composite that well, this is, 40 years later, I can dig my fingernail into fairly easily, weren't going to hold a wood screw all that well or all that long. So there you go. Alright, I just want to round up today with just a look at both of these necks, compare and contrast. This is the aluminum one. Near as I can tell, there are no frets to pull. I believe that the frets are machined right into the aluminum fingerboard. I didn't notice before, but the first fret here is damaged pretty hard right there at the G string. So, but I will say the guitar did play pretty well, up until about the 14th fret where it fell off the cliff. But, yeah, so that's this one here. I also noticed that most of the markings are gone. Most of the inlays have fallen out of here, and it's hard to tell at first until you feel it, and you feel that there's a hole there because you can see behind it the aluminum that was just milled down there that little bit, and then they popped the mother of pearl in on top of that. So interesting. Yeah, I don't know what this material is. Some kind of resin. Anyway, that is not going to be destroyed. You may have to go back on yet, but if at all possible, this is the one that's going to go on there. I bought it like this. It's missing several frets, so and it's missing some binding, so all these frets are going to get pulled. I'll clean off and level the fretboard. It's got some sanding marks on it where people have gone after it over the years. There's a chunk missing here. I'll do my best to fill that with some dust and glue, get it smooth. It has a nice inlay. They're all there, so I can't complain about that. Alright, it's just a fret job and some binding work, and then a bit of creativity to get this thing mounted on the other body. I think I'll be able to get the rest of this cap off here, clean this surface, and graft new. It doesn't make any sense to try to use this. That's all bonded together. Piece of mahogany, just something to cover up all the way down to the heel of the guitar. That could be tricky, but you know, when it's just a bang around guitar and it's just fun to work on, I don't worry too much about making it look perfect. I want to get it functional. It's a pretty good finish crack up there, and get it playing. Otherwise, they match up pretty well. The scale length is the same. They're both 25¼ inches. They're both, I thought this one was narrower, but they're both 1 11/16, or that neighborhood. Right? They measure about the same there. Same width at the 14th fret, as near as I can tell, at the body. So we should be able to cover that. The only thing that may be different is the length of the tongue that goes over the top of the guitar body. It's obviously a different shape, you know, but that's just finish up, fix up, hide it, that kind of thing. And they're both 10-inch radius, so not that they'd have to match, but it's nice that they do. So it's going to be, I think I'll take a little time, get these frets out of here, get the rest of these this binding off of here, and get those things ordered, and a nut blank and a saddle blank, and I'll bring you back when we have a little bit of progress. Sound good? See you later. Alright, so here is the donor neck. Hopefully that's just glue on there. That's going to go on the Matrix guitar. And I'm just going to get it ready. I'm going to act like this is actually going to work and start prepping to, at least to fit this to the body. I still have to order frets and binding and do all of that work. But I'll bring it in briefly. You find a lot of epoxy, it looks like to me, feels like underneath here. That's got to get gone, so I've been going after that a little bit with a chisel, which works, kind of pops it loose. But obviously I'm not gonna watch you make this whole, make you watch this whole exercise here. Right? So that's that. I've been going a little bit with a flat blade as well, and if you can catch an edge, it just pops right off. I'll get that clean, and then here I got to get this heel cap off of here as well, and I found just, I don't want to damage the wood under there if I can help it, but oop, it's cracking. That may be good. Let's see if I can just find this other edge. I don't want to start into the wood just yet. I'm going to have to fiddle with this and machine it to some kind of surface that I can mate something else to, in order to cover the recess at the heel there. So I don't have a lot of real solid ideas yet, but make it up as you go along, kind of thing. This is coming. Whoop, there she goes. Okay. Alright, that's already reasonably flat. I think I can scrape the nonsense and glue and whatnot off of there and get this down flat without too much trouble. I think this was maybe easier this way. I can get under there and pop it. My goal is, today, before I quit, is to get this reasonably flat so I can see what it looks like when it's laying on top of the guitar body. And the only way to check that is to drill the hole through the guitar for this truss rod to go through. There are 2 holes in that neck block already, which is just a thicker piece of plastic. Maybe it's a 1/4 of an inch thick. The resin or the whatever material that bowl is made of, that's just a thicker, about a 1/4 inch thick section of it. So it's not a heck of a lot. You know, I might be able to use the bottom hole to attach my other piece there, but I certainly at least have to first get this 3/8 inch hole through the block there at the body. It's banged up. Whoever took this off did so aggressively, and I don't know what guitar this is off of, other than that it's an Ovation. And I noticed also this fret is different from the rest of these. Actually, that looks like possibly an original fret, and somebody came along and put jumbos here. Does that sound right? Or the other way around? Maybe these were all worn down here and they put a different type and size of fret there. I don't know. We should try popping one of these out. And I'm going to start maybe with this one. I have my soldering iron heating up. And let's see. This one I'm suspect of. This one's pushing out against the binding. And I think that these maybe were added later. I don't know. There is quite a bit of curvature here at the tail end of this. And if these frets were all pressed in, if they have a thicker tang than what was originally in there, that may account for that. So I might be able to get rid of some of that. In any event, I'm not, like I said, too worried about it. It's going to hopefully end up with nylon strings on it, and not having a cutaway. There's not a whole lot of playing I'm going to be doing up here anyway. I have been able to work the truss rod. It works back and forth. I've got the neck set flat right now, all right, up until it falls off out here. But I've got the truss rod is working, and I was able to flatten out the neck, so that will make the refretting and leveling and all of that a bit easier for me, I hope. So I've got an old crummy tip in my iron. Let's see if I can find fret pullers in this mess. Oh, it's mating season in the tool drawer. Knock it off. Alright. Alright, let's start with this guy here. Alright. And just get a little... I used to have a notched one of these, but this will have to work. Just enough to loosen up that glue a little bit. I don't have enough cord here. Yeah, that's going to be annoying. Alright, let's see what we get here, if I can get underneath this thing. Start. Alright, not too bad. Not too bad. Alright, let's try one of these big fat ones while we're here. I ought to go ahead and just file a notch in this so I can run it straight across like that. Let's see if we get anything here. Oh yeah. Alright, so those will come right out. That doesn't look bad at all. In fact, that one came out cleaner than the one before. So I don't know what was done here. I don't know what originally might have been on here for frets. So they're all coming out, and we'll get to work on that fretboard while I'm waiting for the parts to get here. In the meantime, back to scraping, and I'll bring you back